Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we'll be talking about a potential fall pattern that could be taking shape across the United States. Now I wouldn't say this will be a long-lasting pattern. It will be lasting for a few days in any given area, but this definitely could bring some temperatures, in the upper 40s, lower 50s for a good portion of the United States and southern Canada. So definitely a nice little relief. And I do want to say that the heat will continue for a good portion of the United States, even in the areas that will see this cool off. This is just pretty much into this upcoming weekend, not this weekend, but the next one. And the heat will still remain pretty significant in other areas, and it will still be the main headline maker. So my other videos where I talked about the heat is that's still relevant, and that did not just disappear. So let's start talking about this. So first off, I want to show you the European model and what it shows in terms of the precip. You may be wondering, why are we looking at the precipitation map if I'm talking about temperatures? Well, this kind of sets the stage and gives us a good idea as to why these cool temperatures are going to be taking place in the first place. So do note, we did have a very strong low pressure that drifted into northern Canada. Behind it left this stalled out cold front, which, by the way, there is a moderate risk for flooding across a good portion of Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois today. So that is a pretty significant threat. I do want to mention that. And I guess especially if you've already seen heavy rain across those areas, that means, just be aware for flooding, as more rain is expected tonight. But that thing moves out. You can see kind of develops a weak low pressure and scooches out of here. But do note that by Tuesday, we have this other system that is right there across southern Canada. The cool air left in the wake of this first one is definitely going to be present, and anomalies are going to be significant. But what kind of keeps this a bit longer lasting is this low pressure right here. It doesn't really affect our weather directly. We don't really see a lot of showers or storms unless you live away in central to northern Canada. But do note that what we do see is these winds that are going to be coming from the north, and this high pressure drives a lot of cool air here. You can see kind of dries out, and we see these very nice temperatures occurring. I mean, you can't really see it, but I'll show you in just a minute. Notice we have actually quite a bit of activity potentially across the northeast at this time. Kind of the high pressure makes it scooch off and intensify potentially kind of like a nor'easter fashion. Notice that thing is actually pretty intense, and we'll definitely have to be monitoring that for some heavy rain and flooding across the northeast. But the cool air doesn't last forever. The pattern breaks, you could see, but I do want to focus on that. So let me go back to the European on this weather website, tropicaltidbits.com, and do note that what we do have is that system right here. Again, this was the one that already pulled away. So again, this was on Saturday. Today is Sunday when I'm recording this. So out ahead of this with some very nice warm temperatures, if you recall the heat wave across the northeast. But look, behind it, some very, very chilly temperatures. And some of those were very chilly indeed. 2-meter temperature shaded, you're looking at 50s, 60s. Now, granted, this is even during the day, so during the nighttime hours, it gets down into the 40s for a lot of these locations. Obviously, the mountains are probably even cooler and whatnot, but these are the plains right here. So let's go back and show you the anomalies. Again, this is pretty much 7 a.m. Sunday, so that already passed. I'm recording this at 7 p.m. Sunday, so this is what it looks like right now. Notice that cool blast of air will kind of weaken, but it will still spread into the United States. But the northeastern heat will continue for at least a few more days, and before this kind of starts dissipating. But if you recall, at this time frame, we have that nasty little system across northern central Canada that doesn't really affect us, and you can't really see it on here that well. You can see right there a little bit, but what that does is it brings in a bit more cool air, and you can see it starts pumping in more cool air. So on Thursday, Friday, we have these anomalies that are pretty cool, and that's especially during the day, because during the night you can see that it's a bit more warmer, if you will, but during the day it's relatively nice, and a lot of the northeast south is going to get a lot of good relief this upcoming weekend and going to make things feel nice. But as I mentioned, in the future the pattern kind of breaks and we start seeing more of a heat oriented pattern in the longer range. So that's definitely something to watch for and keep an eye on. So let's go back to the 2-meter temperature shaded and take a look at some of these actual temperature readings. So again, out ahead of this, it was very warm. You could see those hundreds right there, 90s. Same with the northeast. You'll still have quite a bit more heat to deal with, but behind it, you can see these nice 70s, 60s, even some 50s, even during the daytime potentially, as far north as Canada right there. Do note, for Tuesday, August 9th, this isn't all that bad. I mean, upper 70s, that's a beautiful day. It's not too cool, not too warm for a good portion of the eastern United States. And then look at Wednesday. Wednesday is looking like a very nice day. Obviously, warm out here, still not too incredibly hot. I guess Nebraska, South Dakota, definitely getting there. But look, I mean, 70s, 80s, some 60s further north. That is some very, very pleasant weather. And that sticks around for quite a while. Notice it on Thursday. That continues. Some areas not even breaking 70. During the Thursday into Friday, we see some just downright chilly temperatures. I mean, upper 40s, lower 50s, right across the Great Lakes, Northeast. And during the day on Friday, I mean, really, really nice temperatures, almost chilly. The 60s are potentially across Iowa, the Northeast, Canada. That is going to be very, very nice. And you can see that continues for a few more days before the heat starts coming back. And you can see by next Monday, we're already dealing with a bit more heat. Still, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, lower 80s, that's really not bad at all. And again, the West, especially Texas and the plains here, will be dealing with heat pretty much the whole time. So, not everyone is, I guess, taking part in this cool down, but a good portion of the United States is. Let's go to a different model and take a look at the GFS, another model I like. It does a relatively good job, especially with precip and temperatures. Notice it did show that same anomaly the European model is showing, and that's from that first storm that already occurred. That's going to move in the next few days, but this is kind of the bigger one we're looking for. May not look too big initially up in Canada, but once it reaches the United States, you can see there's a profound area of cooler weather, and definitely something that is going to be nice. But do note that the West is heating up at this time, and by Sunday, Monday, again, this starts waning of next weekend. We see more warm air filling in, especially across the Northwest and potentially southern Canada. And yeah, further on, it's a bit of a mystery what exactly will happen. Here, they're showing quite a bit of cool air across the south, maybe to do with just, enhanced cloud cover and whatnot. But notice some of these anomalies coming back definitely could be concerning. Obviously, this is far out, so, this could change 1,000 times. But I'm just showing you this to show you that even though we do get some cool weather now, heat is probably not completely done with. And, August, September tend to be actually pretty warm months. And I feel like this year might be really no big exception from that. So let me take a look at another one, Canadian. I typically don't like to look at this model in terms of its anomalies. It usually does a bit of a funky things, but let's see what it does. Again, there's that first cool off, there's that second one. It's not as intense, that second one, and you can see it jumps around quite a bit, the Canadian right there, so you can't really pick up on patterns as well. So you can see there's that first one, there's that second one moving in. Goes up to 240, so not as far as the GFS, and it definitely does start showing the pattern kind of break though, behind that second wave of cooler air. So let me quickly now go back and focus on this upcoming flooding potential across the southern Wisconsin, Illinois area. So today there's a moderate risk of flooding here. Let me time this out. So 7 a.m., 8 p.m. there are already some storms developing across Minnesota and Iowa. These will kind of continue, and you can see develop into actually pretty nice clusters. Some of these areas, already did pick up quite a bit of rain, and that could continue. Again, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois also picking up some thunders, some showers, some thunder and lightning, obviously with that. Pretty heavy downpours, expected. And then do note that this thing finally pushes out, but not before, delivering another heavy blow of rain into Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana and whatnot. So, and there could be some even more during the day. You can see this model starts firing up some little cells right there back into Illinois. So, by the time this is all said and done, we could see amounts that, add another 1 to 3 inches on top of areas that already seen, 1 to 3, even 4 inches in some areas. I found one location yesterday in Iowa, looked at, there was, I think, 6 inches of rain. So, 8 to 14 day outlook. This is a bit further out. This is kind of past already that cool down. Notice they're still showing a little bit of a kind of a remnant of that, but you can see the pattern starting to warm up. Drier across a good portion of the country, wetter maybe towards the coast and the southwest with the monsoons. 6 to 10 days out, so this is a bit less further out. Notice they're still showing that cool down, the remnants of it. They're more confident in it being below average for that part of the country, but elsewhere pretty warm. And again, the pattern in terms of precip relatively the same. So that's something to, note of as well. Let's take a look at a GFS ensemble. So these are ensembles. I like looking at ensembles because they give you a good idea of what many models are thinking, not just one. And these are like 31 models combined. So notice a lot of them do show nice chilly air from that first blast of cool air. But there's that second one, and that moves into this area Thursday, Friday, the Great Lakes, Northeast. You can see it's pretty sustained, pretty sustainable for a few days at least. And then we see that heat starting to break that cool air apart. And as I move this forward, there's some models that are still hinting at maybe some cool air remaining there, but definitely more of a probably a heat-based pattern. Not as many cooldowns as those big storms kind of stop coming across the northern Canadian area. So we start seeing a lot of warming and no big cold fronts. No cold air to tap into. Let's take a look at the EPS. Same thing, ensemble, but from the European side. So again, European model is one of the best ones. Notice there's that first initial cool off. There's that second one. Again, very similar to what the GFS models were showing, though I feel like the Europeans kick some of that cool air out of there quicker. You may see those brief flashes of blue. That's kind of during the day. So I guess what the models are showing that during the nights compared to average, based on historical trends, will be warmer than the days. Not literally in terms of temperatures. You'll probably have, instead of a normal 80-degree day and a 60-degree night, you could have a 65-degree night and a 75-degree day, right? So, the night is warmer than average, but it's still obviously cooler than the day, and that's probably better. You don't really want to see heat that's too intense during the day, during the night as well, obviously. But a few degrees up during the night isn't going to be too bad either way, because at least then it's a bit less of a jump between the night and the day, so that makes it more comfortable in that way. Instead of a 20-degree difference, maybe it's 15 or 10, which is definitely something to, I guess, keep in mind. If you have your windows open in the evening, you won't need to worry that during the night it will necessarily get too cold. So that is that. I want to show you this observed precipitation. So this is kind of from last night's event. Do note that there were some locations that received, well north of 4 or 5. Again, I did see a few locations that got up to 6 inches across Iowa. That is definitely something that could get exaggerated today as more rain falls there. So that is something to keep note of. But otherwise, that's basically it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya.